us, but nothing has actually happened. So let's go live. Here we go. Going live. We are live. This is the standard, typical audio check of things as I wait for YouTube to actually show up. Hello, everyone.
Hey, everyone.
But nothing has actually happened. So let's go live. Here we go. Going live. We are live. This is the standard, typical audio check of things as I wait for YouTube to actually show up. All right, I think we're good. All right. I was like, I wanted a YouTube to catch up, and I wanted to make sure that audio was working, and that people were like, I could hear us, and I could see us without it like reflecting back into the speakers. So I think we're good. Off we go. Howdy, everybody. Cheers. Joey, Decks, and Drafts. I'm here with, I'm gonna give you two names here. Marion, oh crap, Curnier. Marion Curnier.
Perfect.
That's the English version, apparently, which is already hard. That's already bad. How do you say it in French?
So you would say Marion Curnier?
Nope.
Yeah,
Marion
I know
Curnier.
it's hard. Just wing it. It's alright.
It was weird. My hair. So my heritage is actually French. So I'm French and Slovakian is my heritage, and I got nothing on French. But anyway, that doesn't mean anything. If you're in the chat, please like, please share, please let people know. Also, let me know in chat if you can hear us okay. I know that might be an issue just between Marion and I already, as I am cutting out a couple of words with her, but my computer says it's fine. But who do we have? Special day, special time. This is Marion. She is an artist for Genesis Battle of Champions. She is new to the team. In fact, just getting started. So she has one piece of artwork inside of in the Origins set. It was also kind of her interview artwork. So we'll be showing that off. A couple days ago, I actually showed off the artwork, gave people an opportunity to kind of speculate what the card might do. And then now we're here with her to chat about just the experience of drawing the card, and we're gonna spoil the card as well. But in the meantime, hello, Marion. How are you?
Hey, I'm doing great. And you?
Lovely. She's coming to us from Paris. So it is 9 o'clock your time?
Yeah, it's 9 p.m. I'm not in Paris, but I'm at Paris time.
Paris-ish. Something around... You're in France, though, right?
Yeah. But I'm in the western part of the country, in the countryside, which might be why your words are cutting off.
I'm gonna go with that. We're gonna blame that. So for you guys, if you guys might be able to hear us okay, if we have to repeat, that's just the audio between her and I, getting it covered, making sure that we can hear everything. But as I want to do before we get started and everything, this is Decks and Drafts, by the way. So I do drafts. I think Marion just does water today, which is okay.
Yeah.
That is okay. So I'm gonna do my little spiel.
I have my trusty water bottle.
So I've got Ratio Brewing's If You Want Blood. It's a blood orange IPA. And my glass for the day is Olatangi River. I hope it's Olatangi. Olatangi sounds weird. But out of Columbus, Ohio, because we were just out there for Origins. Origins Game Fair, rocking some Genesis and building up that community. So... that's what I've got going on. But as this kind of pours out, Marion, if you could introduce kind of yourself and just, what got you started into just kind of being an artist, some of the past stuff that you've done, the kinds of things you normally do. Let us introduce you. I'm done talking.
All right. So I actually became a freelance artist pretty recently. Genesis Battle of Champions was my first pro job. And before that, I actually did biotechnology. I studied biotech.
Oh,
and
wow.
Yeah, you didn't. I forgot to tell you.
Yeah. Most of this conversation, everyone, is also going to be new to me. I have not asked many of these questions, so.
So yeah, I used to study biotech. I did an engineering degree, and then at the very end, I just decided that that wasn't for me anymore, and I took some time to to really think about it, to really think about what I wanted for myself, and I decided to pursue this, and then for a couple of years, I think I decided on September 2019 to pursue this seriously, and so I've been teaching myself with YouTube videos and stuff.
Nice.
And what?
I was just saying, nice, awesome.
And on October 2021, I think, Damien posted on a Discord server I was on that Genesis was looking for new artists. And at the time, I actually wanted to wait a bit more to work on my portfolio, but I thought that it was a very interesting opportunity because I looked it up and did some research on the game and everything. So I took some time to rework my portfolio a bit and then applied. And Damien offered me to do a test piece.
Nice. So what specifically about Genesis interested you? Was it something about the world, or was it just that it was a card game? What was kind of the draw?
So I think I really find card games interesting. The challenge of doing a single illustration to show the ability of a certain character or of a spell, something like that. And I clicked on the website, and it seemed to be a pretty small company, but that was kind of getting more and more attention.
That's right.
And that was
That's correct,
developing.
everybody. Small company getting more and more attention.
And so, yeah, I looked it up. I looked up the cards, and the universe seemed very fantasy, but not super classic fantasy, bit with a twist. And so, yeah, that seemed interesting to me.
So I got a question. You said you changed up your portfolio a little bit. What kinds of things did you change to kind of like attract Genesis and Damien? Like, what did you do specifically?
Basically, I reworked some of my older pieces because I had I had a few like character design pieces or a few full illustration pieces that I had done earlier in the year. But since I'm just starting, I'm improving kind of fast, and so it was already a bit not up to date. And so I took a few days to just like rework them and make them a bit more relevant to what my level at the time was.
Nice. Okay. So for the chats, you guys are more than welcome to ask any questions as well. Kind of what I want to do with this is we're going to show off art, but this is also kind of a cool opportunity to see what the artist journey is, kind of jumping into a game. So yeah, feel free to ask away as well as we go through things. But you said that you did kind of a test piece. I want to throw that up on the screen because that's actually what we turned into a card. And don't say the name of the card because I was having people guess what it was.
Oh, okay.
So we won't say the name of the card yet, but so I'm going to throw up what your final version of this was. So everybody can kind of see that. It's going to cover me up. I've only had so much time to do graphics. Boom. So there we go. That's her, and Marion's just gonna have to use her imagination that she can see her piece, the final piece.
I think I remember what it looks like.
If you got YouTube up, you'll see it like 10 seconds. So the first thing I've got to ask is, when you did the test piece, I assume the process was like you sent over your portfolio, and Tom was like, you had it back and forth, and then it's like, hey, can you do a test piece for me? What was that experience like? Because I know now we give like a creative brief. We say like, based off of this, make a thing. Walk me through kind of your interview journey.
At first, I was very confused about a lot of things because, like I said, it was my first pro job. So first of all, I had to, like on the very real side of things, I had to do the whole administrative thing of becoming freelance very quickly. Which was stressful, but when that was done, I was a bit. I didn't really know how the process was, so Damien was very patient in explaining what he was waiting for, stuff like that. And so first of all, he asked me to do 3 sketches, exploring sort of different options, different poses, stuff like that.
Did he? So Are those the ones that I've got the ability to throw on the screen?
Yeah.
Okay. So what
Yeah.
did he give you kind of like a brief of this is a,
Yeah.
the person. So I'm going to throw the initial sketches for this up on the screen. If you want to talk a little bit about that part and kind of what he specifically asked for, and then kind of how you got here.
Yeah. So the brief was that it was a certain character whose name I didn't know at the time. There was a reference picture, and that he was being struck by a lightning bolt, basically a spell, lightning spell. And I knew also that the card was green because cards have color affiliations.
Mm-hmm.
So I knew that the color scheme had to be more towards green, or at least include some green in there. And I also knew the arena that it was supposed to happen in. And I think that was all. There might have been a mood, but I'm not too sure about that.
I mean, guy hit by lightning in an arena it sets the mood pretty well too.
Yeah. Yeah, so that's basically what I wanted to show, because since it's a spell card, the focus has to be on the spell and the effect of the spell. So I wanted to show the pain of being hit by lightning, the muscles contracting kind of, and him being
not
pushed
having a good
off.
time.
Yeah, not having a good time, basically.
Now these are the 3 that you sent over, but you told me before that you just had like the rough sketches. I used initial because rough was bad. What's like your rough is this like a bar napkin, or is it like how many rough sketches did you go through?
Usually I just open Photoshop and do some tiny thumbnails and just go crazy with them, just doing random strokes, random just trying to let my imagination go and try to see what I feel about it, what sort of angles, what sort of composition I could go for.
Mm-hmm.
And so yeah, it's very messy at the start. I don't think everyone works like that, but I just do whatever I want.
Yeah,
and then when I
show what you
and
got.
then and then when I can narrow down some thumbnails that I like, I will try to clean them up so that so that Damien doesn't have to look at a bunch of random scribbles and can actually understand what I was going for. So I cleaned them up and sent them, and that was the result.
Yeah, and they're actually all awesome. I would have been cool with either of these. So a little kind of behind the scenes is that one of the fun things that Genesis does is they actually hire artists as opposed to just commission work, and that allows for kind of the team to come together and kind of chat and give opinions and whatnot. So this would be like a 1, 2, 3 for me, and then we would all just like spam whatever number we want. Like that one's really cool. Yeah, I would have taken Evie. I would not have helped you in this process. So Damian gets these, and then there's kind of a phase 2 to this, because these are just sketches, but naturally we want to see all of it. So I've got a kind of a second version, which are the color roughs. So kind of tell me about this process. Like, what exactly is this? Because it looks like a blend of the sketch you have, and you have color just kind of on top of it or behind it. Like, this is I'm not familiar with this kind of part of the process.
So in the same way that I explore compositions and poses in black and white, then I will explore color schemes in color and also values at the same time. Sometimes I do a second step of just values, so just black and white. But for this one, I just went directly for color. And so, yeah, I just duplicate the sketch that was chosen and try different options behind it with colors. And for this one, it was pretty straightforward because the color was green. It was in a dark blue arena with a character that had blue and purple clothing. So the color scheme, my explorations were quite similar, but for other cards, I sometimes do like 8 color roughs and all quite different. So, but for this one, they were all kind of close.
Mm-hmm. So when you did this, because I'm going to jump way back, because you said you were kind of teaching yourself some things, and as you were talking, you knew that you were finding your portfolio and kind of you've been training yourself a little bit. When you got this project, was there any specific aspect of this that like I'm going to practice maybe on another project, or I'm going to I'm gonna learn something before I send the initial sketches out, like maybe with color blending or doing lightning, or was there anything you're like, this I'm gonna learn this and we're gonna crush this part?
For this one, no, but for other cards that I've done afterwards, I did. For example, let's say
Careful,
that I
don't go too
suck.
far.
Yeah,
But
yeah, don't worry. But let's say that I suck at uh, a certain animal or a certain texture. I will do some studies of that thing and to train myself, and sometimes also just to get in the mood. Like before that, I think I did some a few composition studies, a few gesture studies, just to get in the mood, just to get the creative juices flowing before doing that. I think
so you're
it was a
like
while
just
ago.
kind of looking online of XYZ gesture, man getting hit by lightning. I don't know what you would search
No,
for.
no, no,
Um,
no,
um,
just random gesture, like just
but like you mentioned, you mentioned you had a whole Discord server. I assume it's just kind of artists and whatnot. It's like, what resources are out there for an artist that wants to maybe learn a specific skill or tactic? Does that Discord able to help, or you just kind of their websites help the artists
so
out?
many resources. Like that's actually one of the hard parts, is that we are kind of overwhelmed by the resources there are, because maybe like 15 years ago it was a bit easier in a way because you only had a few ways to learn, but now
Right.
it's everywhere. So what I did, the Discord servers that were useful to me were the Ross Draws Discord server, because it has a community class, a few community classes that are
What's it
super
called?
useful. Ross Draws.
Rost
Is
Rose, ROSTROS.
Ross Draws. Ross Tran, he's also called. He's a very, very famous artist, famous like on Instagram and stuff.
I'm terrible. I would put it in chat, but I still can't. I wouldn't be able to spell it. So if you can put it in chat, go to town. But
Sure, I will. Then I will reveal my weird
if
YouTube
you want, if
channel.
it's like a secret society,
Ross Draws. He's very well known, so I think people know him. He mostly does manga and stuff.
Ross
And I joined.
draws. Okay.
Yeah, sorry. And so the community there is very helpful, and there are a few community classes in there that were very, very useful for me. And I also did a few Squism courses. It's a website by Bobby Chiu, where different pro artists go and have like a 8-week class on a certain topic, and it's very, very good. And
Cool.
I also have recently joined a Discord server, but it's for French artists. It's in French. And it's called Illustration Motivation, and it's very goal oriented. So it was very, very useful for me too.
Very cool. It's nice that
And
there's so much
actually,
stuff. And then go ahead.
what?
No, what you got?
And just the Discord that I actually got the Damian's message on wasn't on any of these. It was on a Discord called Artbook News, and it's by Spiridon, if you know him.
I feel
He
like
did
I know.
like
I've heard that name.
he did like hardcover and stuff like that.
Okay.
He does a lot of art books. And so Damian actually participated in one of his art books recently. I tried to, but I didn't get in. But so
Soon.
because of that,
We'll go. We'll make it. We'll make a thing out of it.
so because of that, I was on that Discord server, and there is a job section, and that's where Damian posted.
Awesome. I can get this back to us like for just a sec. So hello. I'm sorry, everybody. You guys are just staring at a bunch of color ups, which are gorgeous, by the way. But we could be back on the screen. Okay, so you've got those. Yeah, so a bunch of cool little resources like that. That's awesome. It's cool that there's a community. Now, is there like one specifically for gamers, or is it just a general like we need this?
Is there a what?
Is there like a Discord like just for kind of gamers and hobbyists, or is it just a general artist? Anybody comes in, anybody posts a job about anything. I need a book cover. I need
the art book news one.
Mm-hmm. Any of the ones that you found.
So Spiridon's, it's Spiridon's private server basically. So it's anything he wants. He often posts art book news or random news or Ukraine news, anything he wants. It's his private server basically. Nice. Rosdraw's server is Rosdraw's fan server, but it's very wholesome, and there is a lot of people helping each other to get better at art and at drawing. And the illustration motivation one is very, like I said, it's very goal oriented. when you join that server, it's really because you have a goal of improving yourself and maybe making it or something.
Awesome.
It was actually created, the Discord server, not the forum it's based on, but the Discord server was created by Aurore Foldy in English or something like that. And she's made some amazing magic cards recently.
Ooh, that's cool. All right. Well, that'll connect with half the audience. It's like, oh, magic cards. I heard that. I know that art. Let's go. All right. So I'm going to kind of recap through because there's one final step before we get to where we are, and I want to make sure we cover that. So this was, so we have the initial sketches. That was just kind of 3 quick roughs. Not roughs, but,
You can call them rough.
We'll call them roughs. Right. The next one's rough. Right? Well, the next ones are rough. So we have the initial sketches, and then from there, one of those specific ones was selected, which I think is the leftmost one on the screen. Yes. And then that takes us to the color roughs, where you're really just kind of playing around with different color ideas. In this case, it looks kind of like hues. And then you've got kind of this last one. So oddly enough, this kind of almost looks a little rougher than the original one. Because there's definitely less detail, but that's something I'm not familiar with. This is called a flat color. So kind of what does this show exactly?
It doesn't show anything. It depends on your process. Sometimes my process is just everything on one big layer and I just paint. And sometimes my process is a bit cleaner and I try to have separate layers for different elements, different colors. And to do that, usually you do a flat color first. So you just remove everything and clean up everything and have a different layer for each element. That way you can just paint with that, with that layer locked, so that you don't get out of that specific element when you paint.
Okay, yeah. So if I switch, I'm going to switch back and forth. Now it's starting to make more sense. So if I go back to the original color roughs, yeah, there's no kind of like lines. Color's just kind of, it's wherever. It's not like all over the place, but I can see like on the legs and whatnot, you're not trying to stay within the outlines of your legs with the color roughs. It's a little spread out. Yeah. The cape is not very there's not an exact form. It's a little blended out. Whereas the flat color is very defined in where that color is.
And between the color rough and the flat color one, I also redrew the sketch a bit, tackled some of the issues, maybe some of the face anatomy, stuff like that. I think I got some references between the initial sketches and the detail sketch, because I usually like to tackle most of my issues before starting to paint. That way I don't have to look up like references while I'm painting. So that's why the flat color, I spend some time just redoing the sketch a bit, tackling some issues, and then doing some flat colors.
Gotcha. So from there, we get from the flat color, and I'm going to take us back to just you on the screen, but also with kind of that full art, the final sketch of that. So you get from there to here ultimately, which I'm sure there's a lot of little steps in between, because now we're getting into like a lot of detail. So help me out, kind of like what's Damian's guidance, or I don't know if you were like checking with other people, and I'm sure you're kind of reaching out as you're going through each step. What's kind of the guidance that's being shared with you? Is it like, play with shadows, play with highlights, play with direction? What are people telling you to kind of get you to a final form? If anything.
On this one, not too much, because I think it's because it was a trial piece, so he wanted to know what I was capable of. There is definitely more feedback when you're part of the team and on the Slack, but during for the trial piece, that there wasn't that much feedback. One thing he did say was to add more lightning, basically, because at first the version I sent him had like one big lightning bolt, and he told me just to add a lot more. So I added the little lightning bolts everywhere.
So you guys heard it here first. Damian is Emperor Palpatine. More lightning.
Unlimited power.
Right, and maybe some of his art team might agree with that, but we'll save that for another video. All right, so with this one, we have it up. This is kind of a two-parter. I'm definitely going to come back, and I want to talk a little bit about what it's been like being on the team. But we're about a half hour in, and I know part of this is that we were actually going to spoil the card as well, which I don't even know if you've even seen the spoiler. I don't know if it would even matter to you. Actually, let me ask, like, how much do you actually... Have you had a chance to kind of try out Genesis and kind of see it played, or... It's fine if not. But
So not yet, but I've been watching the videos to learn it because Assad actually in the weekly meeting he said that he wanted to have a fight with every single person on the team, especially the art team. So I know that I have to prepare myself so that I'm not completely destroyed.
So do you play any do you play any card games, board games? Are you a gamer at all?
I play a lot of board games and tabletop RPGs, and a bit of video games. And as for card games, not too much. I used to like play maybe a bit of Pokemon, stuff like that. And I've been wanting to learn Magic for a while, but I haven't had the chance. Mm-hmm. But no, it's mostly board games and tabletop RPGs.
Well, thankfully, Genesis is practically that when you sit down anyway. So this is going to feel great. I
heard.
Uh-oh, and I just there we go. Camera gets a little blurry. I had to come back. So yeah, no, that's one of the things that we are trying to do very much as a team is we all want to get a bunch more games in. If anyone is a part of the Discord fan server, one, you should join it, genesisboc.com. There's a join the fan server. But it's darn near become a running gag of how little I even get to play the game. And like, I really want to play, but I got a billion things to do. But with that being said, with all that, let's go ahead and spoil it off. So like I said, there was this, and if you, this was the original card art. I let people kind of speculate, like, what might this do?
Did you see that Assad just sent a message?
What?
Assad just sent a message on Slack saying that I reminded him that he needs to challenge us. I think he's talking about like doing games with us.
Yeah, I know we want to do some more. There's some more videos that we're looking at doing. And I say we because if you don't know, I am a part of the Genesis team and part of Haunted Castle Gaming on top of doing this. But I got to do a spoiler for Decks and Drafts and was like, I'm doing this one and we're going to do it this way. And also it's like, fine. I don't have time. All right, so anyway, let's spoil the card. Let's show you what this is. So I'm going to hide... Marion's face is going to get hidden and it's going to be my turn. So official spoiler incoming. This is... When I find it, there we are. And when I move it up in OBS, because I did not plan this very well, this is how that final card is, which I don't actually know if you've even seen, so you'll see it in YouTube. Boom! There we go. This is Taser. That's the name. And Steve, he thought it was like, I asked, is like, I told everybody that it was 5 letters. And he's like, this is easy. It's Shock. And I'm like, okay, that sounds like a good way to go. No, the name is Taser. Now we need Taser Face if you're Guardians of the Galaxy fan. But details of the card. It is 2 in front of you, so the awareness is from your champion where they're facing, 2 spots in front of you on the board on the arena. It can hit any one of those. It is worth 5 chi. If you're not familiar with the game, that's basically kind of a power level of the card. Every deck can go up to 250 chi. So this is kind of mid-range. It is a Phage card. So Origins is the first to kind of introduce us to that 5th affiliation, that green Phage affiliation. As a Swift for 12 Aura. Aura, again, if you're not familiar, those are like static resources. You get a certain number, and then they all go... once you deplete them, once you use them, they don't come back. So if I had 120 resources, I would use a 10th of those to spend this. It deals 3 electric damage to a target in Taser's awareness, so those 2 squares in front of the champion. And then as a trigger, if anything is dealt damage by Taser, they can pay 3 energy, which in this game, that is milling from the top of your deck. If they don't, they gain stun this round, which is the champion or summon cannot move or rotate themselves. Additionally, summons cannot pay, so it's got to hit a champion for... it's stunned, or the champion can mill some of their deck in order to not be stunned. And stun simply means they cannot move or rotate. But if you've played Genesis for even 5 minutes, that's actually pretty crippling. So some people into, good card, I'll take it. Thank you, Ben. So yeah, for those of you who, anytime that you have something that is able to hit 2 spots in front of you, that kind of versatility creates a lot of, there's a lot of value in that. There's a lot of extra strategy in that you're not like restricted. Also, you don't really have to deal with line of sight. Isn't exactly a thing. So if you have a champion and there's somebody in front of you, and then the target's behind here, they don't hit them first. You can hit far beyond. So really cool card. Anytime you can do any sort of debilitating effects, it's fantastic as well. So I'm a fan, and I've seen more of the Phage stuff, so I really like what else is out there. So that's the spoiler for everybody, come from the full work. So I'm going to take this off, and I want to chat a little bit with you. Don't know why I suddenly forgot how to actually do that. Nope. There we go. Back to us. So, I want to chat really quick just about, now we've gone past the interview process. You now have a card. First, how's that feel? Like, what other things have you done in the past? You said this is kind of like the first, like, major thing once you looked at doing freelancing. What's it kind of feel like to have your name on a card that is going to be played by many?
Yeah, it felt amazing. I was also a bit, I didn't know at first that my name was going to be on it. And there was sort of this internet culture of always having a pen name, always being anonymous. So, I wasn't
take that off?
But yeah, I was really super, super excited. Even when just starting, like when Damien agreed to give me a test piece, even then I was just super excited. So.
Yeah, I mean, I saw it, I was like, this is really cool. And then I saw some of the stuff that you were doing for other stuff, which, oh my god, guys, the invasion art, okay. Anyway, that's a couple months down the road. But yeah, I saw it, and I was like, this is really cool. And then I was surprised with, the fact that it was going to be, like, actually turned into an actual card. So I was a big fan of that also. I liked it. So now that you've done this, so, you're used to doing freelance in the past, and I'm sure there's a process that you have. Now you're a part of a team. Now you're a part of the Genesis world. What's different? What are some of the challenges you had coming into kind of this now that you're starting to do more pieces? Is there anything that kind of surprised you?
Surprised me. So I'm not sure how it works with other teams, but there is a lot of back and forth going on, and everyone is allowed to say their opinion, to give some ideas. So that's very a very chill environment.
I'm trying to figure out trying to say if that's good or bad.
Yeah, it is. It's just like you're not afraid to speak out, I guess. Mm-hmm. And also something that's interesting is that Damien, I'm not sure how recent that is, but Damien sometimes does some paint over sessions where he will try to push your card a bit more, to show you how you could push it a bit more.
Mm-hmm. And so he does classes in Discord, right? Like, he brings the artists together?
That hasn't happened yet while I was here, but okay. I heard that, yeah. Okay. But so I didn't I actually had three trial pieces, and so for those there wasn't like a paint over session or anything, because they were trial pieces. Right. But it's always super useful because, like I said, I didn't do an art school. I didn't do like a regular I didn't have a really regular art education, and so I didn't really have a mentor or someone to paint over my stuff or something like that. Sometimes I would send my pieces to my friends, and they might point out something that's that I could improve. But having an actual professional artist paint over your stuff and try to show you how you could push it further is extremely interesting.
So help me understand what the paint over process is. Another one of the things I'm not entirely familiar with. Is that kind of Damien going in and he kind of does a couple of things, or what exactly happens during that.
Yeah, that's exactly that. Like he will take a flattened version of the final art and just paint on top of it to show quick things that you could improve. And in my case, it's quite often have more things flying around. And I know that's something that other people have told me in the past on another artwork. Someone who gave me feedback told me that I should add more noise, more little branches around, more I don't know, fog or something. And that's also something that Damien told me about a few of my pieces.
So it sounds like what's really cool with that is it's not just saying add more fog, add more lightning. I get to actually show you this is, here's kind of an idea. It's something to inspire you. Because I'm sure he's probably not saying copy this. I don't know.
Yeah, it cut off a bit.
Okay. Sorry, a little bit of a cut off there. So I'm sure he's, it's kind of an inspiration because if you get told like somebody sends you just a text message of add more fog, add more lightning, that can't be nearly as cool as like, let me show you what I'm thinking. Let me show you an idea maybe, and hopefully that inspires you. And is that kind of what those are? It's more, I want to inspire you by showing you some options as opposed to copy.
Yeah, exactly. It's also always quicker to just show you what he has in mind than just write a 1,000 word long paragraph or something. So yeah, it's very, very useful to just see what could be improved and then work on it.
No guy says easy changes are one of the things I envy about digital artists. And I want to jump on that because I looking through your Instagram, which I'm going to put it in. I think your Instagram is just Bluetopia, or is it Bluetopia Art?
It's Bluetopia on Instagram and Bluetopia Art on Twitter since Bluetopia was already taken.
All right, and I screwed that up when I announced her. And tagged the wrong person. So I'm gonna put these up. Oops, on Twitter. Because I remember looking through your Instagram, your earlier pictures, they are hand sketches.
Yeah. I do still paint and draw like traditionally.
Mm-hmm. So
not as.
Is you doing digital artwork also new, or you've been doing that for a while as well?
I've been doing that for a while, but they were bad.
What was the hardest thing to transfer over? Like I'm used to doing this, but now I'm get to do digital. And digital, you got layers and you have undo. What makes it harder?
That's actually harder because first of all, everything is too smooth. Like
okay, that's fair.
A lot of digital artists, including me, will add some kind of noise at the end or some kind of texture because digital is just really, really smooth. And when you paint or when you draw, there's always a texture of the tools, and it makes it a bit more complicated, a bit more complex. So even if it's a very quick sketch, a very quick painting, it will always seem more finished because there is some texture, some complexity that is inherent to the tools. While with digital, we try to imitate it with some texture brushes and some noise and stuff like that, but it's always too smooth. And so, yeah, you have to work a bit against that. And also, it's a bit hard to be decisive. That's actually something that I struggle with, I'm not bold enough quite often with my colors and stuff like that because of digital, actually. And
really?
So I don't know. I just don't go bold enough sometimes, and I have to push myself to go bolder. And when you're painting, I don't know why, but I do go a bit more extreme. Not extreme, but you mean
like high contrast, like pure hues?
Yeah.
Is that what you mean? Okay.
Yeah.
And this time I was like, I got a color palette, and it's kind of like the 10 colors that maybe are a little muted, a little flat.
Yeah.
So far with this, coming into Genesis, I might have a few different angles on this one, but like what's been, even in the time that you've spent and even looking at the stuff you're doing for the next part, what's been kind of the most fun part of being all of this? And then maybe what's been like either the most difficult or the trickiest or one of those like, this is an adjustment?
The most fun is being able to draw badass characters with a lot of variety.
Variety.
yeah, so I different creatures, different characters, different spells. It's like not one card is similar to the other. So it really challenges me to try and find new solutions, to try and explore new things, and it's always very exciting. Um, and yeah, basically. And the hardest thing, maybe the deadline because I'm quite slow.
That's fair. Anybody who knows me, me and deadlines are not friends. Sorry, everybody. Sorry,
I'm
many
quite
people.
slow and I'm working on commissions on the side. And
Mm,
yeah, I think you can't really force being quick. It
mm,
just comes with experience, and I don't really have that yet.
mm.
So yeah, I push my cards, I push my illustrations as much as I can, because I want to learn, I want to be proud of what I produce, but it does take time. So yeah.
It's all right. Let's push you a little bit and kind of wrap this up. You said you kind of do commission stuff. I remember seeing on Instagram there's a lot of like D&D character commissions. Do you kind of have a sweet spot because you're very much in like the fantasy angle of stuff? But like, what other kinds of things are you doing? We'll start there.
Yeah, I really enjoy doing like tabletop RPG characters because I like hearing about the character of the person and then trying to show their personality through the art. That's super fun, and I also really like drawing animals. So if there's animals in there, like fantasy animals, I'm just super happy. I've been actually going to the biopark a lot to draw animals there, and yeah, it's just super fun to do.
What is
So
you're going? You go where?
to the biopark. It's a zoo basically,
Oh.
but they call themselves a biopark because they really focus on the animals and rehabilitation and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm. Okay, that's sorry. I'm also like looking at chat a little bit. Which at this point also, if you guys have any questions about anything or anything for Marion, this is a great time to ask those as well. Be that motivations. Naturally, we're not spoiling anything coming out later, but anything along those lines, feel free to share and all of that. So, um, I had somewhere I was gonna go with that, and I totally forgot where I was gonna go with that. Um. No, that's I had a headspace for this, um, and I spaced it. Um, oh, that's where I wanted to go. Um, so for any artist who's watched kind of through this, who's gone through this, what kind of advice might you have for them? Let's target very specifically like card game and hobby. You've done between the commissions you've done, between what you've seen for Genesis. What advice might you have for an artist who really wants to get into anywhere in the hobby space?
First of all, to really think about what you like, because if you're excited about learning, you will go much further. And about the practical side, you mean maybe?
Anything, any one of those things that let's put it this way. We'll do a scenario, and then you tell me where I'm wrong. We'll say that I'm an artist, and I made a couple pieces. Some people like them, and then I see that a company is hiring for an artist.
Yeah.
What would you tell me is like maybe have these pieces in place? Make sure that this is refined. Make sure you know how to talk about this so I can either land the interview or get past the first interview. Any of those kind of gotchas from I went to Wizards of the Coast to be an artist and I showed them the two pieces that I did for my friends. Like, what would you tell them?
So I would tell them to, first of all, in their portfolio, try to only show your best work because, as everyone says, you will always be judged on your worst piece and not on your best piece.
Mm.
And try to show only what you want to work in, because if you want to do character focused piece and you put a lot of backgrounds in there, then they will think, oh yeah, she's good to do backgrounds, and they will just give you background jobs, and that's not what you enjoy.
Mm.
Uh, and also try to think about, just research the company and research what sort of art they're putting up. and try to study it, try to see what makes it work, and try to make studies of it. And then when you do your pieces for that specific portfolio, try to really think, would that fit? Like, would it be marketable right now? Would that fit with the company right now? Would that fit with their mood, with their theme, with their quality? Stuff like that.
Nice. I'm cycling through the various kind of versions of everything, so you guys, so everybody can kind of see, how we got to the final, which flat color, and then there's the full art on the left, and then finally, it's gonna be a little weird screen cap with the card on the right. 5-stage process as far as what we put on here.
And also,
here we are.
Don't be afraid to look for references, because when people are beginning, they think that it's cheating somehow. And the thing is, like, if you want to have something that's realistic or believable, you need references. So you can take your own photos, you can make 3D models, you can look up stuff online, but yeah, don't be afraid to look for references.
Awesome. Cool. Well, I kind of got nothing else for this, just because it has been a little while, but I got through kind of all of what I wanted to. If you guys would like, many of the artists are in the Discord fan server as well, so feel free, genesisboc.com, join the fan server from there. If you see more stuff that you like from any of the artists that Genesis has, feel free, if they're in there. I'm sure they're not going to yell if you're like, oh my gosh, this is amazing. I know that's happened lately with some of the art that we've seen from the sets. I think one of the coolest things that we have done is we've got Mario, who the second card that he did for the game was a card called Death Eater, which I don't think I have. I don't think I have that readily available. I'm not going to pretend that I do. Nope, not going to pretend that I do. But he did a card called Death Eater, and then we have that reprinted in Origins, and he got to take another crack at it. And we got to watch kind of the skills, over time. And it's just nuts, mind-blowing.
Yeah. Huge glow up.
Oh, man. Yeah, I got to get better at using the word glow up. I got a makeup wife. That, and it's actually a really good show. I don't know if you've seen the Netflix reality kind of game show Glow Up. It's actually great. But anyway.
Oh, no, I haven't.
Me being weird. But yeah, so it's really cool. Again, that's kind of one of the fun benefits of like kind of hiring artists and actually working with a team and having a great art director in Damian who's like, let's inspire each other. Kind of let me show you what I got. And let's really make this into kind of the best that it can be. Origins has been a rock star example of how cool that model is as a team. Bringing you on, and even your first, I love the crap out of Taser. I know what else you've done, and I'm like, oh my god, it's so
You've
good.
been so nice, and like it's been so motivating to have you like send super nice messages in the Slack. So thank you so much for that.
Yeah, of course. We support each other, and again, the work you guys are doing is absolutely nuts. But feel free to join the fan server. You can kind of see more of that and engage and chat with the team. Hopefully, sometime soon we get some games in where we teach like you guys and some other members of Haunted Castle. If you guys would like to learn as well. Feel free, again, hit up that Discord server, Genesis BOC. There's a browser-based version of the game made by Awesome Wasim. That's Coliseum of Fate. That's where a lot of tournaments are going. We also have a $50,000 pro circuit that's going on all around the world that leads us to Toronto in November for a $15,000 prize. And it's been a lot of cool things for Genesis in general, but one of the biggest ones is that this year we've been growing, myself included in January, Marion not too long ago, and that keeps rolling on, and that's not something that a lot of companies can say after 4 years, especially in the card game industry. So it's been pretty cool, pretty fun ride. But any parting words from you, and then I will wrap this up because I need an excuse to I gotta finish this.
Be kind to yourselves. That's random.
I was hoping for a little more time. That's okay. That is okay. I'll be okay.
Hydrate. That's important.
As I'm drinking beer, which is the opposite of that. Anyway, we'll end it there because now we're just being silly and dorking around. But check out Genesis BOC. Check out Genesis Battle of Champions is the game. Blue Tippy Arts. Is it Blue Tippy or Blue Topy? Doesn't matter.
Bluetooth.
Blue Topy.
Oh yeah.
Blue Tippy on Instagram, BLUTOPY, Blue Tippy _art on Twitter. And if you need D&D characters also, like, don't do too much because we need her. We need her also, but, you know, give her a shout out. So that's all I've got. Thank you guys so much for joining. This was an absolute blast. This was new for me as well. Like, subscribe if you like it. Feel free to send any feedback, and I will see you guys next time. That's a cheers from me. Have a good one, everyone.
Thank you for having me, Joey.
Yeah, absolutely. This was fun. We'll come back. We'll come back and be like, you know, what's that? This was your first card, and I'll have you redo it. I don't know. Ozzy will kill me if he's like, I'm using their time. All right. Bye, guys.